Hello, and welcome to Cinephellas. That's right, Cinephellas. The only place where Nosferatu shouldn't open a bakery because everything would be bite-sized. Well, honestly, we're here to talk about the Nosferatu, I guess reimagining. I don't want to call it a remake, but the original Nosferatu came out in like 1922. It was a silent film. So this is like the updated version. But before we like really get into it, let's have a look at some of the trailer.
I'm ready.
All right, well, that trailer looks really good. So I guess, Kevin, I think you should be the one to kick it off, like where we talk about the director and like his work with.
He did The Witch, The Lighthouse, The Northman, and now this. And
Mhm.
one thing he can do really well, Robert Eggers, by the way, is his name. He can set atmosphere really well. This whole thing is a vibe. And for me, I went with like five people. They pretty much all hated it. I liked it. I think it's just something you either connect with or you don't. And it's pretty, it's pretty quick if you know if you're going to like it or not. It's very slow at points, but I don't know. I just liked it. And like the extended edition's coming out, and I am sitting down for that. I'm interested to see what else was left on the cutting room floor. I know Logan. I was listening to that review. They did not like Lily Rose Depp. I thought she was okay. I liked all the physical body acting that she did. I thought she was pretty good. But I did not watch The Idols, so I only know her from what was that movie? Oh, Yoga Hosers. Yeah, exactly, Bob.
Honestly, I never wanted to see her in anything after Yoga Hosers, but honestly, I
Yeah, but
agree with you. I
she's
think
playing
she's
a
really good in
stupid
the movie.
teenager, and the script was terrible. But I was impressed with her here.
And Bob, you're more like the bookworm of the group. So, from my understanding, like this Nosferatu, they said was actually closer to the book than the original 1922 film. I don't know if you know about that.
Yeah, yeah, Nosferatu itself was we'll call it a reimagining from Bram Stoker's. They couldn't obviously do that back then. Not sure why, but then what happened was, um, Bram Stoker's Dracula comes out when I was younger, and you had Gary Oldman as Dracula and Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder trying to do accents, which was great. But I always thought Gary Oldman gave the best performance, and to that point was the best Dracula until I saw this. This hit on all of the things in Bram Stoker's Dracula, the book where it goes in through, it shows brief things of the Demeter, which if you really want to get in depth, Last Voyage of the Demeter movie, it came out last year, the year prior, is fantastic and really sets up for this. I don't think she can act. However, you nailed it on the head when you said physical acting. Her
Yeah,
physical acting was absolutely fantastic. And while I felt she came off with all of the personality of a wax figure, when the physical acting came, it was fantastic. I think Robert Eggers did, at least from what I'm getting, he needed a porcelain doll, and she was that porcelain doll. You need this pure thing to just kind of get you going. I think the cinematography was absolutely flawless. When it's dark, it was black and white. When the sun comes up, things started coming in light again. And so it was a great mixture of like you felt ominous when it was black and white. And then when it was during the day, you're kind of like setting up like, all right, where are we going next? Because you know none of the good shit's gonna happen when it's light. You have to wait till it's dark out. Um, I know there was a lot of complaints about the vampire figure or the direction and the makeup. He's supposed to be, they say in the movie, he's alive of blasphemy. He's supposed to be decrepit. He's supposed to be decomposing constantly. What they made Skarsgård look like is exactly what I think a vampire was. We don't need any more sexy vampires. We had Gary Oldman looking all cool. You had Robert Pattinson and all these Draculas looking cool. This is the first time where I was like, yeah, that's pretty much what a badass vampire would be. You know, honestly, I loved everything about this movie. I really did. Even down Willem Dafoe. I mean, can we just hand it like as soon as Willem Dafoe comes on the screen, you're like, all right, and now there's a whole new like just as you're dozing, Willem Dafoe comes on and just reignites it all.
And just going back to what you said about like Dracula and how he looks, honestly, the whole time I was looking at him, I'm like, he looks like a skinny Ron Jeremy. Like, I don't know if you guys got that. But like honestly, I think you guys might like this movie a little bit more than me. Not that I hate it. It's just honestly, I did feel it. It was a little slow, just for me personally. And Lily Rose Depp, you nailed it, Kev. With the physical acting, I thought it was great. But just for me, it got a little repetitive, like with the her eye rolling in the back of her head, and like the shakes and all of these other things. It was just a little repetitive. I'm like, okay, we understand you can do that, but can we see a little bit more? But I just want to talk more about Nicholas Hoult too. I think he was great in the movie as well. And Aaron Taylor Johnson, like I've been saying this since Kick-Ass, he's a very, very underrated actor.
And he and
Like
he
if it's
needed
funny,
this. He needed this after Craven.
yeah, it's funny because like if you see Craven, you're gonna be like, this dude can't act for shit. But like if you see him in this, it's like, wow, it's actually really good.
He
Yeah, just
stole
for me,
every scene he was in.
literally, yeah. That's why I'm like, yeah, you if you saw Craven, watch him in this. It's like night and day. No pun intended. We just talked about night and day. But going back to what you said, like the cinematography, like I did tell people that this is like the most gorgeous movie that came out last year, 2024. Like it looks amazing. Like it takes a lot of like hard work to make snow and like rats look beautiful. So I thought that was pretty cool. But I'm just curious like what you guys actually think too with like Bill Skarsgård because I actually didn't know it was Bill Skarsgård until way later. Like I knew his name was like on it, but I didn't know it was him. I thought the makeup was just really good.
Touching upon the cinematography, that whole sequence when Nicholas Hoult gets into the carriage and it's very dreamlike. It's incredible. Like you feel like you're floating with him from like that spot where the carriage picked him up, and then he's or all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm in a castle now. Where the hell, like how this happened? He blacks out. I thought that was incredible, and I thought Nicholas Hoult did a great job selling that. I like Skarsgård. I really didn't care for that character. I thought he sounded like Tony Soprano with the breathing. And I thought the stomping got a little repetitive too. Like every time he was walking, he had to stomp, stomp. And I don't know, still a good performance, but there were some things I didn't really like about it.
See, I'm gonna have to defend my boy here. Again, this is all from the standpoint of it being living dead, essentially.
Yeah.
The difficulty breathing, the repetitive stopping because the body can't keep up. Like I thought it was fantastic. Again, it's I feel like but this guy. No, whenever you read a vampire book and all this, they would always talk about the rotting flesh, the leg shaking, stuff like this. This is the first time I've ever seen it on the big screen or any screen for that matter. They went a little more zombie than vampire, but I liked it. Honestly, that carriage scene set the tone for me so fast.
Oh yeah.
Like, okay, this is what we're supposed to do now. The only thing I didn't like timeline was is the Demeter sets sail after Nicholas Holt's already gone. Ship makes it there well before Nicholas Holt. Aaron's last like big scene with his big acting sequence there and the spoiler alerts, the final spot. I felt they showed so much beauty in the plague and like him embracing her when like there was no music, there was no nothing. There was this soft ASMR type thing where you heard the padding and stuff like that. The thing is Robert Eggers films, I was okay with The Witch. I never saw The Northman, the Lighthouse, I was like meh on, and this made me a believer.
He's doing Labyrinth. They're doing a remake, and I'm like, that's interesting. I'm down for that.
Yeah. I mean, he already had Skarsgård drop full dong, and freaking David Bowie was almost at that point throughout all Labyrinth. So we'll see how that goes.
What were you gonna say now? You were gonna say something.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say like just going back to like what Bob was saying, like the whole time I was watching this, I'm like, I think Guillermo del Toro would have made a better movie, but Robert Eggers made a better film, if that makes sense, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, and like honestly, like just going back to Demeter, I thought that was a better movie than this one, but this is just more well made, in my opinion. And going back to what you were saying too with his last movies, like The Witch and The Northman, to me, Robert Eggers is now becoming more mainstream. He's not like the edgy guy who made The Witch and all of these other crazy movies. And I just feel like I kind of want that guy back. Like if this had the tone of like The Lighthouse or the style of that, I think personally I would have liked it a little bit more. But ever since The Northman, it's like he's becoming almost like just another Hollywood director to me.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I want him to keep his edge, Like
Mhm.
no, even if I didn't like the movie, it had an edge to it. You know, The Witch, it took me a minute to get the Old English going so I could understand the dialogue a little easier. And once I did,
Mhm.
it was so like he's always got this one thing there that kind of will make you take a step back. Like you're not supposed to be comfortable, I don't think. You know, like everything.
Right.
That's why a lot of the stuff is jarring and stuff like that. Again, my opinion, my point of view is just I think he wants you to be jarred. But I could see you say I could see the mainstream appeal of this being his big boom. That might
Mhm.
be a little bit of him, like I said, going mainstream or being recognized as such. I could see Del Toro doing an absolutely amazing job with this material, but I think we've seen so many vampire stories done in modern stuff. In Demeter, like Demeter was great for what it was, but to tell an entire story, I think if we would have had it in more modern stuff, it would have come off as a downplayed Bram Stoker's. Whereas the way Robert Eggers filmed it, it made it feel like the classics. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You look at Black and White, Lon Chaney, Wolfman, stuff like this. This made it feel more like one of the classics and not a modern version. The black and white was great because you didn't get any grainy, even if it was a little gray. Like it, you saw everything and everything was soft. You saw the softness of stuff, like everything he did. I was a big fan of this movie.
So Kevin, since you've seen all his movies, like which one? How would you rank his movies, though? I'm just curious.
Still think, I like The Witch the best. Maybe the order they came out. Like I dig all his stuff, and that's not a a punch against Nosferatu, but I
Hmm.
don't know. Like Lighthouse had more style. Northman was more epic, but this was cool. I like I'm giving this four hair pieces. I really enjoyed this movie, and I really don't have Nightmare Before Christmas. That's like everyone's October movie. I think I would watch this every October, like maybe in the middle of the night in my basement, dim all the lights, and you know, it's a vibe. I keep saying it. It's a big word, but I really dug this movie a lot.
I'm with you. I know the last two reviews I gave high marks to. This one comes right under for movies I saw as like honestly, I love this movie. 4.5, if not more. Like we'll go 4.7. How about that?
4.7.
4.7. I thought it was fantastic. The only thing that's keeping it from a 5.0 is Lily Rose.
Yeah.
And also, I want to say it was really refreshing to see vampires not biting here, but
Yes.
actually going towards the source.
Yes, that
I
was
thought that
cool.
was an amazing
That was
choice.
cool.
Yeah, I know I like the movie a little bit less than you guys, but I still like the movie. This is a movie I would actually recommend and watch again. Like if it comes out on Blu-ray and
Did
whatnot,
you
I'll watch it
are you
again.
gonna watch
My
did you
just
watch the extended? Are you
That's what
gonna
I'm
watch?
saying. Yeah, that's what
Okay,
I
good.
want. And like yeah, so maybe I'll even like the extended version a little bit more. But just for me, it was a little slow, and Lily Rose Depp was just a little repetitive. But the movie is like gorgeous to look at, and I wasn't bored really. Just it was just a little slow. And I didn't say much about Willem Dafoe, but it's Willem Dafoe. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And maybe a 3.5 out of 5. That's like what I would come to. And I honestly think the extended version for me might be a little bit better. At least that's what I'm hoping for.
I'm hoping that the stuff on the editing room floor is more Aaron Johnson and his family.
Yes, me
And
too.
Mhm.
The
like,
wife.
I want more of
Yes.
that. I need more of them being cool with one another before you get that separation towards the end. You know what I mean? I want to feel that camaraderie because it felt like here's people, now we're friends. And uh-oh, like I want a little more filling over there. I'm hoping that's what it is. But I'll be honest, if they're like, yeah, it's got a half hour more features or footage, like right, bring it on.
Pop,
Like
popcorn. You'll be good. One more question before we wrap up. Was there any snoring in your theater? Because two people were snoring in my theater. Yeah.
no
Oh,
snoring.
all right. Cool.
I had like on the left side of me there were maybe three teenagers, 19 perhaps. And yeah, they talked.
Ugh.
And it was like not understanding things. They're like, what's that mean? What's that mean? And I almost decided to start answering, but I was like, nope, just gonna kind of shut that ear off and just pay attention.
Yeah, for me, no snoring, no teenagers, just normal moviegoers. So lucky me. Um, Honestly, I felt like if I would have went with my parents or like other family members, they would have been the teenagers and the snoring people.
Well, I went with a buddy of mine who likes these kind of films, and he enjoyed that. And thankfully, I had someone there to kind of be like, "Did I see that part right?" Because sometimes you'll second guess yourself and be like, "No, I didn't see that," or "I must have missed something here." At least I do that to myself constantly. And
You're right for that because I saw this by myself, and there were parts where I'm like, ah, there should be someone next to me, like if I have an unanswered question or something like that. So that's a good point. I want to watch this again with someone.
because there were things that I was like, did I miss? Did he say something about this? Like I felt
Mhm.
like there were a couple times, all with Aaron John. Like maybe this extended version is just more in depth on his character, and like you find out he's rich. Why is he rich? Oh, he's a boat owner. Oh, he owned the Demeter. You know what I mean? Like it all felt way too fast.
Yeah, like the Johnson cut. Or does
Yeah.
that go back to Ron Jeremy?
Yeah, wasn't expecting it. Wasn't expecting it. Heard people made remarks. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Still caught me off guard. With me being a huge Halloween fan and horror nerd, the caskets also were absolutely beautiful. Like his sarcophagus or whatever they wanted to call it at that point was absolutely fantastic. Like that's the way you do it. You know what I mean? Just it's supposed to be this epic thing. Like I don't know. You can tell Robert Eggers appreciated the myth and the book and all the literature behind it where he actually made it come to life instead of like having it watered down like we've had so many times before. That's why I feel like maybe I don't know if you guys read Dracula. It's an absolutely fantastic it's I mean it's a classic for a reason. But
Mhm.
a lot of the book is even journals on the Demeter. Oh, this person's getting picked off this, and how they thought it was a plague, and how so like that's what I appreciated about this was they talked about the plague, and then I mean let's face it, they showed guys just going, "Oh, I think I'm sick," and just right then and there. It was
Those were real rats on the set.
Yeah, those looked real. They didn't look like CGI, thank God.
There's a lot of stuff coming out in January, but it's always January. That's something I'm like kind of concerned about too. But either way, we're here to talk about movies, TV shows. Bob was just recommending What If, so I'm gonna check out What If, Squid Games, and Creature Commandos. That's what I'm currently watching. What are you guys watching?
the new Dexter, Creature Commando, Squid Games. I just started the second season.
But other than that, we're always here at Cinephellas talking movies, TV shows, reviews, and well, like Nosferatu on a dating site, we'll never ghost you. But until next time, guys, what do we always say?
Cheers.
Cheers.